Hello everyone. In this lesson, we will be learning timing control in Verilog. And this lesson is part of my previous lesson, that is delays in Verilog. So far if you have not watched the previous lesson, that is delays in Verilog, then please watch that part so that it will be little bit easy for you to understand this lesson, this timing control in Verilog. So what is this timing control? In my previous lesson, that is delays in Verilog, I had explained that how the delays are handled by the different simulators, and I also explained that the delay that is this hash. Whenever we mention this hash token while writing HDL code, the simulator completely ignores this one. Okay, and so we do not much bother about this delay while writing HDL code, and it has to be taken care by the simulator itself. And how does it do? How the simulator handles all these things? It is done by the library. This library is provided by the Foundry itself. Okay. Okay, these Verilog libraries are provided by the Foundry. It can be 18 nanometer technology, it can be 22, it can be 32, it can be 180 nanometer technology. Okay, depending on the availability of library inside a simulator, let it be Xilinx or let it be Design Compiler or Model Sim or Costa Sim, different delays are handled by the simulator in different way. Okay, but never think that all these delays are handled by the simulator itself. No, simulator it does virtually, but internally everything is controlled by this library. They have predefined registers, they predefine gates, they predefine LUTs, they predefine memories elements to control all these parameters, like the timing parameters. Okay, so it all depends on the libraries included by the simulator, okay, into their library. So what are this timing control in Verilog? There are three types of timing controls are there. One is delay based timing control, one is event based, and the third one is level sensitive timing control. Okay, and what is a delay based timing control? It is three types. One is regular delay control. It is also called inter-assignment. You must have heard this word, like this inter-assignment delay. So this is a regular delay control. Second one is intra-assignment delay, and the third one is zero delay control. Okay, the first one, regular delay control or inter-assignment delay. So here it is written parameter. It is example. Okay, parameter, this is predefined word. Okay, parameter, then latency, then it is a variable, you can say. Then latency, this is a word, user defined word, this is okay, 10 5. So initial begin x equal to 0. If I mention x equal to 1 bit 0, so there is no delay because I have not given any hash token here. Okay, so there is no delay for this line. So this line is executed at 0 nanosecond. Let's say 0 nanosecond or 0 times step. Okay, if I write hash 10 y equal to 1b1, so this is a delay, there is a delay, this is a delay of time 10 time step, or we can say time, let's say 10 nanosecond. Okay, so y equal to 1b, so 1 will be assigned to y after 10 nanosecond. So this way directly I can assign the number here 10, or I can use the expression. Okay, this way also we can assign a delay using the expression. For example, a hash latency plus delta p equal to 1b1. So p will get 1 bit 1 after how much time? Latency plus delta. And what are these words? Latency and delta here. Latency is 10 time step or 10 nanosecond, or delta is 5 nanosecond. Okay, so latency plus delta 15. This will be 15. So here I have not used directly the numbers. Here I have used the expression. Okay. So it is also correct. This way you can do. This way you can do. Okay. All are correct. Then hash state equal to x plus 1. This is also correct. This is another way. Okay. Hash state x equal to x plus 1. Okay. Then hash 4 colon 5 colon 6 q equal to 1 b0. Do you remember this part? In my last lesson, that is delays in Verilog, I explained about all these things. Okay. This is a rise time delay, right? This is a rise time delay, and this 4 is minimum time, this is typical time, and this is maximum time. Okay. It is provided by the libraries, or directly we can say this foundry. Okay. Like the manufacturer. Okay, see this inter assignment delay, there is another lesson for that one. So this is the way how you can assign your inter assignment delay. So there will be another topic in that topic, in that lesson, I will discuss everything in details, this inter assignment delay. So don't think that I am missing something here. Okay, so there will be another topic for this inter assignment delay and inter assignment delay separately. I will cover that one. Okay. And the second one is intra assignment delay. Okay. So here initial begin x equal to 0 and z equal to 0, y equal to hash 10 x plus z. Okay, this inter assignment delay. Okay, let me explain this one first. Okay, so if I write y equal to hash 10 x plus z, then it takes values of x and 0 at time equal to 0 time step. Okay, so x plus z, the value will be updated at the right hand side. The x will get the value and z will get at 0 nanosecond only, but it will be assigned to y, but the y will be evaluated only after 10 nanosecond or 10 time step. It takes values of x and z at time equal to 0, but the evaluation will be done, means the x plus z will be done after 10 nanosecond. And sorry, this is 10 nanosecond. Okay, this one is, so the evaluated will be done after 10 nanosecond. If I write hash 10 y equal to x plus z, then I'm sorry for this one also 10 nanosecond. Okay, so the x plus z, what about the value x and z value, that will be assigned to y, after 10 nanosecond. Okay, means this x plus z will be executed. Okay, this will be executed. Okay, let me tell you this way. Okay, suppose if I write y equal to hash 10 x, this means suppose x equal to 5. So at 0 nanosecond this x gets 5. Okay, but it will take 10 nanosecond, means after 10 nanosecond only this x will be assigned to y. So after 10 nanosecond y will be 10, y will be 5. Okay, but in this case what happens, suppose if I write hash 10 y equal to x. Okay, what does it mean? The x, here also x equal to 5, here also x equal to 5, but the x will be assigned to y after 10 nanosecond. Okay, here the x is evaluated, or the x will get the value at 0 nanosecond, but it will wait for another 10 nanosecond and then it will assign to y. But here the x will assign to y after 10 nanosecond only. Here x is being evaluated at 0 nanosecond. Okay, here x is being evaluated and assigned to y after 10 nanosecond. Okay, it means, and initial begin x equal to 0, z equal to 0, temp 1. So this is the expression, right? This temp equal to 1, x plus z. So this way also you can assign this intra assignment delay. So this one is intra assignment delay. Okay, this part. So after assignment or after equal to if you are writing hash, then delay, this delay assignment, this is called intra assignment delay. This part is intra assignment delay. Y equal to hash 10 x, this is the intra assignment delay. And if I write hash 10 y x, this is a inter assignment delay. Okay, there is a details. Okay, I will cover this one. There is a details of this inter assignment and intra assignment delay. Okay, then zero control delay. And what is this actually? It is a method to ensure that statement is executed last, okay, after all other statements in that simulation times are executed. Okay, so the most important thing is that for zero control delay, it is used to eliminate the race condition. We all know that when we have multiple number of initial statements are allowed in a Verilog, right? So I can write multiple number of initial, but the problem is that all these initial, these are executed parallelly. Okay, so at the same time step, for example, at 0 nanosecond, this block will be executed. At 0 nanosecond, this block will be executed. So this block and this block, this runs parallelly. So here x equal to z, z equal to 0, sorry, x equal to 0, z equal to 0, here x equal to 1, y equal to 1. So what, as all these two blocks, these two initial blocks, they runs parallelly. So what will be the output for x and what will be, sorry, what will be the value of x and z? Here x equal to 1, here y equal to 1, here x equal to 0, here z equal to 0. So x can be 0 or x can be 1. Okay, so this is a race condition. This is a racing, right? So for example, if this line, suppose if this block is executed first, it all depends on the simulator. Okay, which blocks will be executed first, it depends on the simulator. This block can be executed first, and if this block is executed first, then x equal to 0 and z equal to 0. If this block is executed first, then x equal to 1 and y equal to 1. So we don't get the exact value, whether x equal to 0 or whether it is x equal to 1, and definitely it is a race around condition, right? Instability, we also get instability, because this we do not have any constant value, fixed value for x and z. So what Verilog provides, zero control delay. So to eliminate this race condition, as these two blocks are executed parallelly, so if we write hash 0 and hash 0, then that assurity will be provided by Verilog that this line, this block will be executed at the end. Okay, here x and y are executed with different values in two initial block. Okay, that what I mentioned. So if I write hash 0 and hash 0 here, so this block will be executed at the end. So first this block will be executed. This x equal to 0 and z equal to 0 is normal assignment, right? Normally we do the assignment like this. So this initial block is executed first, because this is what zero control delay tells. Okay, so if I write hash 0 and hash 0, then this block will be executed at the end. So first this block will be executed, this initial block, and the second this initial block. So it eliminates race around condition. This eliminates this race around condition. Okay, and another thing is that the x equal to 1 and y equal to 1, hash 0, and the order in which x equal to 1 and y equal to 1 executed is not deterministic. So this x equal to 1 can be executed first, or the y equal to 1 can be executed first. There is no guarantee that we cannot say that x equal to 1 because the first line is x equal to 1, that means x equal to 1 will be executed first, then y equal to 1. No, so it is not deterministic actually. It is all taken care by the simulator itself. Okay, so we can't say that whether this we get the output first x equal to 1 or we get y equal to 1. So this is the use of zero control delay. Okay, so all these things are normally used for testing while during writing test bench. Okay, so you should remember this one, that it is eliminating the race around condition, and whenever we mention hash 0, then this block will be executed at the end. Okay, event based timing control. So normally this is clock and we know that when designing sequential circuit, normally we use clock and reset. Okay, and I mentioned in my previous lesson that what is event. So anything that we write that Verilog in our simulator, it takes time for the simulator to evaluate that part, that particular line of code. Okay, so event is a change in the value on a register or net. Events can be utilized to trigger execution of statement or a block of statements. Okay, so this event can be a piece of code, or this event can be a line of code. Okay, so it is of different type. The first one is the regular event control. And what is the regular event control? Regular event control is at the rate, then bracket inside, and you can write anything inside the bracket. Okay, here the statement that begins with at the rate halts the flow into the body of the statements until an event occurs on any of the signal listed inside. Okay, so at the rate, this bracket, so this affects the timing, because this lesson is all about timing controls, right? So how your statements, or how it is affecting your timings. So this is all about timings. So this at the rate and this bracket, it is affecting the timing. How? Okay, let's see some example. Okay, if I write at the rate clock, then bracket q equal to d, means the q equal to d is executed when clock changes. When this clock changes, at the rate this clock, when there is a changes in clock, then only this line will be this q equal to d. So d will be assigned to q. Else, if there is no changes in clock, then there will be no assignment from d to q. So definitely it is affecting my time. So if there is no changes, means the value will be remained same. The q value, it stores the previous value, and it is affecting my time. Okay, if I write at the rate passage of clock q equal to d, means only at the passage of clock, only at the positive edge of clock only, the value of d will be assigned to q. So q equal to d executed when clock does positive transition 0 to 1. The transition can be 0 to 1, or x to 1, means unknown to 1, or your floating z to 1, means it is high impedance to logic 1. So if there is a positive, if negative edge comes, then the q will have the same value whatever it had before. Okay, so it will store the previous value. Okay, unless until there is a encounter of positive edges of clock, q is not going to change. It is going to store the same value which it had before. Okay, so it also directly affecting my timing. Definitely it is affecting my timing. Then if q equal to at the rate passage of clock d, this way if I write, then the d is evaluated immediately. Okay, the d is evaluated immediately, but it will assign to q at the positive edge of clock. See, d will suppose this, if d depends on some other event, so that event will trigger d, and the value of d will be evaluated at the zero time step. Okay, but unless until there is a positive edge of clock comes, d won't be assigned to q. So the value of q not only depends on the value of d, it also depends on the positive edges of clock. So this at the rate is halting the flow. So this at the rate, here it is written, this at the rate halts the flow into the body of statements. So this at the rate parts here, it is halting the flow, because it means if there is a changes inside, whatever inside is written inside the bracket, it is halting that flow, it is halting that propagation, right? So definitely it is affecting my timing. So in this way, this at the rate and this bracket, this controls my different timing. Okay, so this is a regular event control. Then the next one is named event control. And what is this one? Verilog provides capability to declare an event and then trigger and recognize the occurrence of the event. Okay, and the event doesn't hold any data. A named event is declared by the keyword. So we use a keyword called event. Okay, this is not a user defined, it is a predefined. Okay, this keyword is predefined event. and then event is triggered by symbol this one. This is also predefined, this arrow mark. It is a triggered. For triggering we use this one, and for a named event this event keyword is used. The triggering of event is recognized by the symbol this one. Here is the example. Okay, so this is a predefined keyword event, then receive data. This is a variable name. So this is the event declaration. And what is that event? Event receive data. Receive data is the event declaration. Then always at the passage of clock. So if there is a changes in passage of clock, then this block will be this block. It will go into that block. The flow will be there will be flow of data. Okay, so suppose we encountered a positive edge of clock, then what will happen? Then this line will be this line will be checked. If last data packet true. Okay, so what it is doing, it is if it is true, if this one is true, if last data packet is true, then it is triggering the received data. Okay, this part is triggering, right? This one, an event is triggered by the symbol. So it is triggering what it is triggering? It is triggering that received part. It is triggering this one. Okay, it is triggering received data is triggered. Received data is triggered when the last data packet is 1. So if we received the last data packet, then it is triggering that we received the data. Okay, we got the data. So this is a arrow and this is my event. Okay, then this is AND. Then always at the received data, if I receive the data, if the received data is true, means if we receive the data, then we are storing the data. Data packet 0 is stored at data buffer. Okay, this is a recognition. Here it is written, it is. So the triggering of event is recognized by symbol @. So first we are triggering the data. First we are triggering. Okay, once it is triggered, then we are recognizing. Okay, recognizing here we triggered receive data. Okay, once it is triggered, then we are recognizing whether we received or not. If we received the data, if the event has been done, if the event occurred, okay, if the event has occurred, they received data, then what we are doing? Then we are storing data packet 0. Then we are doing some kind of analysis, or we can say some kind of data storing or data manipulation, you can say. Okay, so this data packet of 0 is transferred or it is stored in data buffer. So this is how this named event control works. Okay, and definitely it is also affecting my timing, because unless until the received data is true, this statement won't be executed, right? If it is false, if received data is false, definitely this line won't be executed. So definitely this @ it is halting. It is halting again, halting the flow of data. It is halting the flow of data unless until I have the data received. I cannot store the data. Here I am storing the data, right? Here I am storing the data. So this @ then this triggering event and this named event, it is controlling my flow of data. Okay, so this is how it works, the named event control. Then the third one is event or control. And what is this? And I think you have seen this one. Always @ clock or reset or A or B. It is equivalent to always @ So when I was explaining that data flow modeling, I believe data flow modeling, there I had mentioned about this asterisk. Okay, so whenever you find that there is a OR inside this bracket and always @ this kind of statement, it is equivalent to always @ always @ means if there is a changes, means whatever is mentioned inside the bracket, for example clock, reset, A and B, if there is any changes in clock or reset or A or B, then the body part, whatever is written in the body, is executed. These lines are executed. Okay, this is called event or control. Because how it is affecting my timing? Because if there is no changes, then definitely this line won't be executed. Means this body part, whatever is written or whatever statement is there inside the body won't be executed. So definitely it is halting the flow. This @ is halting the flow of data. Okay, and the last one is level sensitive timing control. And what is level sensitive? A procedural statement can be delayed by using the keyword wait. Okay, there is a keyword wait has been used here. Okay, so a statement can be delayed until condition is met by wait keyword. This is called level sensitive timing control. For example, here is the example. You can say always at the rate, sorry, always wait enable hash 10 count equal to count plus 1. So this is halting the process. This is halting the process. It means if enable equal to 1, then this line will be evaluated. Okay, if enable equal to 0, suppose if enable equal to 0, so definitely this line won't be executed. So there will be there is no flow of data, so this line won't be executed, and it will stop the flow of data. Okay, so this wait is used for level sensitive timing control, and this or is used, this is event or control. Okay, so if enable equal to 1, then only after 10 nanosecond count equal to count plus 1. So this is all about your timing control in Verilog. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked the content, then you can press the like button and subscribe this channel. Okay, thank you so much.